Hey ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Naked Healthy. I've kept it pretty light around here as far as topics, but today I'm going to go ahead and blow that the hell out of the water and talk about fluoride. I know that it's a very hot topic and there's a lot of conspiracy around it, and even when I search YouTube videos for it, pretty much every single thing says that you're a flat earther and crazy and you might as well go live in the woods if you believe that fluoride is toxic. I have a whole bunch of government documents that would state otherwise. So I want to go ahead and go through those with you. I want to read them to you and let you make your own decisions. Government report finds no safe level of fluoride in water. Fluoridation policy threatened. March 16th, 2023, a court order has led to the National Toxicology Program, NTP, releasing a finalized systematic review of fluoride's neurotoxicity that was blocked by government officials and concealed from the public since May of 2022. The NTP reported 52 of 55 studies found decreases in child IQ with increased fluoride. Now, I'm going to go ahead and back up every single thing that I'm going to say with data and stats and facts. So this one's going to get a little hot and heavy. I would love for you guys to leave your thoughts in the comments on this one because I know that this is it's a little hot. Our meta-analysis confirms results of previous meta-analysis and extends them by including newer, more precise studies. The data support a consistent inverse association between fluoride exposure and children's IQ. Now, most of us are not geniuses, right? The national average of IQ is 100. It would only take a little bit for it to really affect us. So let's take a look at how much of a drop fluoride could actually have on us. Research on other neurotoxins has shown that subtle shifts in IQ at the population level can have a profound impact. A 5-point decrease in a population's IQ would nearly double the number of people classified as intellectually disabled. You may say to yourself, well, maybe these kids are drinking fluoride, or maybe these people are just heavily fluorinated, or they're living in areas that there's just a ton of fluoride that's added to their water. Nay. Several of the highest quality studies showing lower IQs in children were done in optimally fluorinated areas, which is 0.7 milligrams per liter. Many urinary fluoride measurements exceed those that would be expected from consuming water that contains fluoride at 1.5 milligrams. So what they are noticing, and there's many other studies that I've seen that say this, is that when they do a urinary analysis of these people, the level of fluoride is far higher than they would normally expect it to be. So even at a lower dose of fluoride, you're still getting massive amounts of it that's just floating and staying within your body. Asked whether its meta-analysis had identified any safe dose of fluoride, NTP responded that they found, quote, no obvious threshold, end quote, for total fluoride exposure or water fluoride exposure. NTP cited their report's graph showing a steep drop in IQ of about 7 points over a fluoride range of 0.2 to 1.5 milligrams per liter. A peer reviewer commented on the size of the effect, quote, that's substantial. That's a big deal. Like I just said, let's do the math. We got nice, round, easy numbers unless you're heavily fluorinated. We have 100. 7 points would be 7% out of 100. That is a 7% drop that you could have just from fluoride in your water. So if you're not filtering your water, oh, by the way, 84% of people consume tap water without filtering it, which is mind-blowing. Please filter your water. That's the point of this video, is that you need to make sure that you are A, not consuming fluoride toothpaste, not giving it to your kids, and you are filtering your water. By the way, why would the government be concealing this? I don't know, but let's take a look at a lawsuit that they just lost. As a result of months of legal motions, subpoenas, and extensive negotiations with the U.S. Department of Justice, which is representing the EPA in court, our legal counsel was successful in getting the National Institute of Health to agree to publicly release the National Toxicology Program's, NTP, completed multi-year systematic review of fluoride's impact on the developing brain. After being served a subpoena by our attorneys, the National Institute for Environmental Health Sciences, a branch of the National Institute of Health, agreed to publicly produce their final report that was intended to be published in May of 2022. Let me introduce you to Dr. Grandjean. Dr. Grandjean is a physician, a scientist, an internationally known expert in environmental epidemiology, an author, and a professor at both Harvard School of Public Health and the University of Southern Denmark. He has held grants and or consulted with the EPA itself, the National Institutes of Health, the U.S. Food and Drug Administration, the World Health Organization, and numerous other bodies over 25 years. He is the author and co-author of some 500 scientific papers. The reason that I am going into how decorated this man is I want you to understand where he's coming from so that I can solidify to you that this is not just some quack doctor that's running in here with his hair all freaking crazy with a big old long mustache twirling it saying, hey, this is bad for you. Hitler created it. I want this to come from someone who is actually worth a shit to you. Pregnant ladies, mothers, ladies. He is perhaps best known worldwide for his research on the neurotoxicity of mercury, which involves studying the IQ of children born to mothers whose diet was high in fish consumption and thence high in mercury. This work led to defining the EPA's safe regulatory levels for mercury in the diet and inspired downward revisions of methyl mercury exposures limits internationally. He is the doctor who is the reason that the EPA has its regulations on methyl mercury for what pregnant women can consume. Scientist who defied intimidation from Harvard colleagues wins award for work and integrity. The International Society for Children's Health and the Environment has awarded Philippe Grandjean the Herbert Needleman Award in Children's Environmental Health for his work on methyl mercury, lead, PFAs, and other toxic chemicals. One of the other chemicals Dr. Grandjean has been studying for decades is fluoride, including the impact of low levels of fluoride on the developing brain. He was also an expert witness called to testify at our federal lawsuit against the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency to end fluoridation due to neurotoxicity. So the government was actually sued to stop fluoridating the water. And this doctor, Dr. Grandjean, was threatened by most of his colleagues at Harvard and told to redact all of his scientific studies and say that he was all for fluoride. Dr. Grandjean testified during our TSCA trial that he was threatened by colleagues and administrators at Harvard University to retract his 2012 conclusions of the neurotoxicity from fluoride exposure. As a person with integrity, he defied these threats. Philippe is quoted as saying, "Well, if you want the whole story, I was asked to meet with a professor from Harvard's dental school. He came to my office and essentially threatened me. He said I was endangering public health, and he demanded that I issue a statement similar to what you're talking about now. When I said I would think it over, he went to the deans of the medical school, the dental school, and the School of Public Health, that is my boss, without telling me, and the deans did not know what was going on. They were just asked to sign a public statement saying, in agreement with the CDC, that fluoridation is the cornerstone of modern public health." I will leave you with one final statement from Dr. Grandjean on what his studies have concluded. Quote, "The weight of epidemiological evidence leaves no reasonable doubt that developmental neurotoxicity is a serious human risk associated with elevated fluoride exposure, including those occurring at levels added to drinking water in fluoridated areas. The IQ losses associated with the community water fluoridation are substantial and of significant public health concern." So, you tell me if you sound like a flat earther or a conspiracy theorist now that you've heard this information. What my advice to you would be is, next time you go to the dentist, you're not going to win the war with them. I've tried this already. If you tell them that fluoride's bad, they're not going to believe you. They're going to tell you that it increases your teeth, and that there's a study from the 1920s in Colorado Springs about the brown stain, about how they discovered that they had stronger enamel in the 20s over in a particular area because the water was overly fluoridated. Now, the thing with that is that was natural. It comes from the rocks and it leaks into the water. That is natural. That is far different, as we have all learned about ultra-processed chemicals, that if you add an ultra-processed chemical to the water, it's going to be far different than just putting rocks in your water. So they thought that because they had stronger enamel, even though they had stains on their teeth, they thought that because they had stronger enamel, the fluoride is what did it. So that began this whole thing about adding fluoride to water. And they started doing it back in Grand Rapids, Michigan. It was the first city that they ever did it. And then it just started spreading from there. It lowers your IQ. We don't need any more help being dumber. Okay, we have enough things going on. We have enough stress. We have enough things in our life that are going to just slow us down. okay? We don't need anything else. So, fluoride-free toothpaste. When you go to the dentist, no fluoride trays. When they try to put fluoride trays in your kid's teeth, don't do it. If they say we have to do this, cool, goodbye, I'm leaving. I don't need this. You can bring a piece of paper, show some of these studies that maybe you can educate them. Hopefully they'll read it, probably not. But so we just have to do all this stuff on our own, guys. If you don't take your health into your own hands, then you are going to lose this battle. So I thank you very much for watching. Please comment. I know that this is going to be a heated topic, so I would love to hear what your input is, what your experiences with this have been. I'm very, very interested to hear from the community on this one. So again, like, subscribe, comment. I love you guys. Mwah! Mwah! Thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate it. Hula appreciates it. You got anything to say? Great. Thanks for watching, guys.